What's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today we are doing the breakdown video for the Luis Alberto Lopez versus Michael Conlan IBF Featherweight Title Fight that's taking place Saturday, May 27th, in the main event of an ESPN card. So let's get into the video. Let's get into it in a minute. Before we do that, though, guys, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate any support I can get as I try to build my channel up here. I really enjoy doing this stuff. And if you have anything bad to say or want to leave a negative comment, you can do that too. Or give me a thumbs down. But back to the video, back to the breakdown video here. As I commonly do with breakdown videos, if you haven't seen them before, I discuss the same questions between both fighters. I discuss the fight itself, coming in, what it means. Then I get to each fighter individually, starting with the champion and then to the challenger in a fight like this, as it's a title fight. I will discuss, what the fighter's doing coming in to the fight, like their last 3 fights or last couple years. And then I discuss what they need to do to win the fight. Can they win by knockout? Can they win by decision? And is it better, or what does a win mean? What does a loss mean? And then at the end of it, I ask the question, is it better for boxing if one or the other wins? And then the final question is, or the final thing is my prediction on the fight. So we start this one, looking at the fight itself, and I think it's a big fight. And the reason why is featherweight is kind of a wide open division right now. You got 4 different champions, all talented, but you got Luis Alberto Lopez kind of came out of nowhere and captured the title, scored the upset over Josh Warrington, going in against Michael Conlan, who's getting his 2nd crack at a world title after getting stopped last year. And it's a top ranked fight, and the winner really is in a good position to try to unify belts against Robeisy Ramirez, the new WBO champion. And it really will put, a serious threat for the top spot at featherweight if the winner of this fight can move on and beat Robeisy Ramirez or get into a fight like that. So it just opens the door up for more possibilities, and it's going to be good. It's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to it on May 27th for the title. Now, let's first get into the newly crowned champion, Luis Alberto Lopez. He's making his initial defense in this fight against Michael Conlan. And rolling in, this guy is just hot, and he's achieving the dream. He's won his last 3 fights, 2 by knockout, and then the last one in December, defeating Josh Warrington by a majority decision. Tough fight right there. He was winning pretty early on, like convincingly, even though it was a good fight, and then Warrington closed the fight strong to make it a close one. I think he even put Lopez down towards the end there, and Lopez just showed a ton of heart, stayed in there, and was able to pull off the upset in enemy territory, and captured his first world title. He's been hot since he upset Gabriel Flores a couple years back in 2021, and he's been very active. So Luis Alberto Lopez is rolling into this one supremely confident. He's going into Ireland, but I don't think he's afraid of that at all. And he wants blood. He wants that world title, and I think he has a very good chance of achieving that, or he wants to keep that title, and I think he's got a good shot at pulling that off. Now, what kind of style does he need to have to win this fight? Well, he needs to get on the inside of Conlan. He needs to push Conlan. He needs to really, really push Conlan to the limit, because Conlan, in the fight with Lee Wood, was exposed a little bit. He faded in that fight. He was winning. Lee Wood was putting the pressure on, and he faded. Conlan also, but he needs to negate that. I think it's a 3.5 reach advantage and that 4-foot height advantage. He needs to try to negate that by getting inside and really hitting Conlan with body shots and pushing him, really pushing him in this fight. And his stamina also needs to be there too. He tired down against Warrington, you know, but the one thing he doesn't, I wouldn't have to say quote unquote worry about, because Conlan has okay power, but I don't think he needs to worry about that one punch type knockout power out of Conlan. Conlan's not a big puncher. So I think if he does that, he could be successful. Now, can Luis Alberto Lopez win a decision over Michael Conlan? I think he can, but Conlan's a very good boxer. It's not going to be easy. But I think if he can overwhelm him the way he did Josh Warrington, I think the possibility is there. Now, can he win this fight by knockout? I think he can do that too. Lopez doesn't have the most blitzing power. He's got solid power. But I really think if he can overwhelm Conlan, then I could see him stopping him in the later rounds by just outworking him and putting the pressure on and hitting that body. Now, what does a win mean for Luis Alberto Lopez? It means a lot. I mean, it really puts him in the driver's seat for top rank, and you know, it sets up that big showdown with Robesai Ramirez to unify belts to push towards the king of the division. So if he can pull off that victory, he is solidly in your top 5, and he's really in the driver's seat and has shown everybody like, hey, I'm the real deal if he can pull off this win. So it means a lot. What does a loss mean for Luis Alberto Lopez? Well, it obviously would hurt, but I think there's a good amount of people that feel like Conlan's going to win this fight. And so Lopez is kind of looking at this one because he's going into enemy territory, into Conlan's home country. He's looking at it like, hey, I got nothing to lose. You know, I'm going in there. I'm going to throw it all on the table. These are the kind of fights I want, and I'm coming to retain my title. So a loss, although it would hurt him, depending on how he lost, I think Lopez just would be fine with it, and he just gets right back in line to try to get back into the mix. But of course, how you lose matters. If he gets dominated, maybe people won't take him serious, but maybe they'll also give him more opportunities because they don't feel like he's on that A-type level. So he might be looked at as a former champ that you can build off of and build your resume off of. So that might work for him. Now, you know, but if he loses a close fight, you know, he's probably still closer to back in the mix. So that also kind of works. So a loss, I don't think it completely devastates Luis Alberto Lopez. Now we look at the challenger, Michael Conlan. He's getting a second crack at the title. His last 3 fights, he's won his last 2, but his last 3 were all in 2022. The first of those 3 was his devastating and lone defeat of his career, the 12th round knockout loss to Lee Wood as he challenged for the WBA regular title at the time against Wood, was defeating him soundly on the scorecards, but then got caught in the 11th round and put down, and then got finished in the 12th round by a laser right hand that put him through the ropes. And that really, you know, obviously hurt his career, but Michael Conlan made a quick comeback. He took on veteran, former multi-time world title challenger Miguel Mariaga, dominated him over 10 rounds to a decision, and then in December he fought Kareem Guerfi and got a first round knockout win over him to, you know, remain undefeated since his comeback. So I think Conlan's confidence is back, or else he wouldn't have taken a fight like this, and I think he's ready to go, and he wants that world title. I think it burns him that he got stopped in that fight, and I think he wants another crack. Now, what does Michael Conlan need to do to win this fight against Luis Alberto Lopez? He needs to use that height and reach because it's significant. He has a 4-inch height advantage and a 3.5-inch reach advantage. He needs to use those to his, you know, to him, you know, to his style. He needs to use it to his advantage, and he needs to break down Luis Alberto Lopez. Not going to be an easy task. He needs to be moving and, you know, use the angles, but he needs to be in tremendous shape because he ran out of gas against Lee Wood. He does not want to run out of gas against Luis Alberto Lopez. Lopez is a fighter, and he throws punches, and he's coming for blood, and I think he's hungry. So it definitely, both guys very hungry, but Michael Conlan needs to use that height and reach advantage. Now, can Michael Conlan win this fight by knockout? I think he can, but I think it's more of a possibility if he breaks down Luis Alberto Lopez in this one. I don't think he wins by like a one-punch type knockout thing. Maybe he can catch him with a big counter shot that Lopez doesn't see coming that could really hurt him and put him down. But for the most part, I think it's one of those wear down, beat you up type knockout wins if Conlan wins by knockout. Can Conlan win a decision over Lopez? I think he can. I think that height and reach advantage, as long as he can have his stamina there and he's built for 12 rounds, then I really think Michael Conlan can win a decision. I think he can win a comfortable decision or a close one. Now, what does a win mean for Michael Conlan in this one? I think a win means a good deal for him. You know, obviously it's his first world title. It's going to mean a hell of a lot, actually, because, again, you know, he's kind of the star right now of Top Ranked, of their guys that they have, and they really have pushed him. So to capture his first world title finally would really put him in the driver's seat for, you know, to land that fight with Robesai Ramirez, a unification bout, and to try to set himself up as a top tier featherweight in the world right now. So I think a win means a lot for Michael Conlan. What does a loss mean for Michael Conlan? Well, a loss definitely hurts. It really would devastate him. I think a close loss wouldn't hurt him as bad, obviously, but just to lose again in your second crack at a world title, you're at home. I mean, it's a lot of pressure, but for him to lose would really be devastating for Michael Conlan. I don't think he can afford to lose this fight. I think he knows he has to win this fight if people want to take him serious. And now, is it better for boxing if Luis Alberto Lopez wins or if Michael Conlan wins? And it's kind of a toss-up, but because Conlan's more popular, he has a big European following, right now I'm going to say it's a little bit better for boxing if Conlan wins. Boxing needs its stars that come out of different regions and countries, and I think Michael Conlan coming out of Ireland, having a big, you know, a big force behind him, a big fan base, really helps boxing. And I think it could really help, you know, the featherweight division grow a little more. But Lopez is tough, you know, and it wouldn't be bad if Lopez pulled off the win. It really wouldn't, because he's a good, solid Mexican-style fighter. And I think that would play well. But I just think it's better for boxing if Conlan wins. And now, finally, my prediction on this IBF featherweight title fight. It's not an easy one to pick. It really isn't. But I think Conlan's height and reach, and the fact that he knows he was winning that fight with Lee Wood, and I think he saw some flaws in Lopez's style against Conlan. I think he knows he needs to be built for 12. I think he knows he needs to come in great condition. I think he's going to do that. I think Michael Conlan wins this one by a unanimous decision with scores in the area of like 116, 112, and 117, 111. As he will become the new IBF featherweight champion of the world, capturing his first world title. Now, I do believe Lopez is very live to pull off the victory as well, and I really wouldn't be surprised if he did that, but I really think the height and reach is significant in this one, and I think Michael Conlan will expose Luis Alberto Lopez and walk away with that unanimous decision and capture his first world title. So that's it. That's what I got. That is the Lopez versus Conlan breakdown video, as Luis Alberto Lopez will collide with Michael Conlan for the IBF Featherweight Championship of the World at 126 pounds. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been here with the truth.